Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala confirms WTO Director General. IGP deploys riot policemen to Oyo State. Lagos State government disassociates itself from arrest of protesters. Many thanks for joining us on News Now. I am Oyin Adekunle. We begin with sharing news this evening about the appointment of Nigeria's former Finance Minister Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala as the Director General of the World Trade Organization, becoming the first woman to ever lead the Switzerland-based institution and the first African citizen to take on the role. While delivering an acceptance speech, Okonjo-Iweala said a key priority for her would be to work with members to quickly address the economic and health consequences brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic, as well as making the WTO undergo major reforms which will bring it back on track to achieve its mandate.
The growing domestic support entitlements of members must be addressed to level the playing field so as to provide opportunities for small-scale farmers. In addition, it is possible for an early agreement on removal of export restrictions, including favorable consideration of the exemption of World Food Programme humanitarian purchases. Likewise, we must also strengthen disciplines on industrial subsidies. In that regard, it would be important to ensure that subsidies granted by members to their state-owned enterprises in certain situations do not distort the conditions of competition. The issue of special and differential treatment is a divisive one that undermines trust. However, the voluntary action of some developing country members to not avail themselves of special and differential treatment in the future points a way forward. So does the Trade Facilitation Agreement, which allowed for taking into account each member's particular development status. The challenges facing the WTO are numerous and tricky, but they are not insurmountable. There is hope. There is light at the end of the tunnel if we work together in a transparent manner that builds trust, builds bridges, diffuses political tensions, and encourages convergence. The pandemic and its economic fallout have highlighted the interdependence of countries, the importance of multilateralism, and the need to strengthen collaboration to achieve fair and balanced trade agreements that provide opportunities for all WTO members.
Meanwhile, some analysts have expressed confidence that Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, with her expertise, will set the global economy on a path of growth as the Director General of the World Trade Organization. Speaking with TV360 Nigeria, financial analyst Paul Alaje describes Okonjo-Iweala's emergence as a strategic one for not just Nigeria, but the entire African continent. Alaje added that Okonjo-Iweala, as the WTO boss, will provide opportunities and trade fairness for small economies to participate in the global trade front.
Dr. Okonjo-Iweala had led in many countries, not just Nigeria. There is no way you can remove the Africanness in her because she's now leading the world. The truth is that global trade participation for Africa is very low, in spite of the fact that Africa have signed Continental Free Trade Area agreement, but the contribution to global trade by Africa is still very, very low. But with the position that she occupies, it will now encourage Africa to know what are we missing as a continent and as a people. What are we missing in terms of export? The truth is that Africa still exports a number of things. I know, having one of us, an African, chairing a World Trade Organization, it now becomes very important for the world to know that African can have a voice on what we produce. Most of the raw materials in the world come from African continent, and without these raw materials, it will be very difficult for service and industry to operate functionally. And that is why I strongly believe that Africa, starting from Nigeria, South Africa, Kenya, Rwanda, countries that produce raw materials, we start at a better chance to have value for their outputs.
And to security matters now, the Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Adamu, has ordered the immediate deployment of 4 units of riot policemen Force Intelligence Bureau operatives and 1 surveillance helicopter to address the violence in some parts of Oyo State. This was contained in a statement released by Force spokesperson Frank Mba on Monday. Oyo State has recently been racked by violence, including the killings of farmers by suspected herdsmen, abductions, and the clashes between some Hausa and Yoruba traders at Shasha Market. But Mba has assured that operatives would reclaim the public space, reinforce security, and bolster public confidence in the areas affected by the crisis. And following the clashes between herders and farmers in southwest states and the recent clash in Shasha Market in Ibadan between some Hausa youths and Yoruba, the Miyetti Allah Association is talking tough on what it calls targeted attacks against Fulanis. Former coordinator Miyetti Allah in Benue State, Garus Galolo, says it is wrong to tag all Fulanis as criminals simply because of 1 or 2 bad eggs. He added that Fulanis should not be targeted for eviction everywhere in the country.
A law have indicated as a citizen of Nigeria, you are free to say anywhere else you want by the law. You buy by the constitution. But one Fulani committed something, they declare and say, okay, there's a place where I say there's a herdsman, 70 herdsmen with the arrested with the gun. Why are the Fulanis? And then he say he wrote an open letter to president that Fulanis are making this, and he make an open letter that everybody should allow to use gun. The one governor of Bauchi say, okay, Fulani also have to use a gun. He go against him even yesterday. That why must he say so? Which means Fulani should be killed, Fulani should be stay, Fulani are not a human being, they are good because we are not up to the journalists. We are not up to, how many Fulani will go to press? Because they don't know even what is press. But the governor have money, can just go to a press and finish the Fulanis and go away. And tomorrow, when they sit in the press, they say, yes, this Fulani are bad.
Galolo also condemned Benue State Governor Samuel Otom and other states that issued quick notice to herders, stressing that Fulanis are the most marginalized group in the country and are always under constant attack from other groups.
You cannot just hate people. This is what happened between in Rwanda, Tutsi and Hutu, because you cannot hate any other tribe. Say this tribe, you don't want them again. It is God create Fulani. It is God create any other tribe. Why must Fulani own is different? Look at what happened even in Ogun State. A professor, a respectable professor who is Nobel professor, given award in the world, say cow destroy his home. A police CP, commissioner of police, confirm it, so in TV Live. It is not true, but this morning say, I saw in the paper, he says a lie. Cow destroy, and this is the person they want to do Riga, even in the north. You come and protest and say federal government should not give money for Riga. What is his problem with Riga? What is his problem or no Riga? That's the truth. What are you talking about? We are running away from the truth.
Away from security now, at least 5,548 candidates who sat for the West African examination in November 2020 will not get their results. Head of the Nigerian National Office of WAEC, Patrick Aregon, said this on Monday at a media briefing to announce the release of the 2020 WAEC results. Semisola Adigun now reports.
It was the first WAEC November-December edition to be conducted under the pandemic, and the organizers of the examination are here to give details of the results released.
31,751 candidates, representing 51.62%, obtained credit and above in a minimum of 5 subjects, with or without English language and or mathematics. Out of which 15,376 were males and 16,375 were females, representing 48.43% and 51.57% respectively. 24,491 candidates, representing 39.82%, obtained credit and above in a minimum of 5 subjects, including English language and mathematics.
Out of the 61,509 candidates that sat for the examination, 61,111 candidates, representing 99.35%, have their results fully processed and released, while 398 candidates have a few of their results still being processed due to some errors on the part of the candidates.
The results of 5,548 candidates, representing 9.02% of the total number of candidates that sat the examination, are being withheld in connection with various reported cases of examination malpractice. The cases are being investigated, and reports of the investigations will be presented to the appropriate committee of the Council for determination in due course. The committee decisions will be communicated directly to the affected candidates thereafter.
The examination body says collection of certificates for the West African Senior School Certificate Examination for private candidates will be based on requests online via the Electronic Certificate Management System platform, while details of the simple procedures have been made available to the public in earlier paid adverts. Simisola Adigun, TV360, Lagos.
And tragedy was averted in the Fagba area of Ijuishaga in Lagos State today after a train collided with a truck loaded with animal feed at Jonathan Coker Railway level crossing in the area. Jerry Oche, the Nigerian Railway Corporation district manager in Lagos, explained that the vehicle driver disobeyed traffic rules and jumped into the rail track while other vehicles stopped for the train to pass. Although no casualty was recorded, the accident led to vehicular traffic in the area. Oche advised all motorists to be cautious whenever they get to level crossings to avoid preventable accidents. The Lagos State Government has directed the State Commissioner of Police to institute an investigation into the harassment of some protesters who were arrested by men of the Nigerian Police Force in Saturday's botched #Occupy Lekki Tollgate protest. While speaking with newsmen on the alleged harassment of some protesters on Saturday, the State Commissioner for Information and Strategy, Gbenga Omotosho, noted that the state government has directed the State Police Commissioner to begin investigation into the molestation of some protesters. Speaking against the quantum of money lost during the protests, the boss of the LCC, Yomi Omomuwason, said that the firm had lost more than 2.5 billion naira to the damage inherited, adding that it will take about 6 months before a clear picture of the total loss could be ascertained.
That people were brutalized. And he has directed the Commissioner of Police to investigate that matter. And whoever is found culpable, I assure you, will not go without having his day in the punishment room. Because Mr. Baide Sanwo-Olu has said it loud and clear that he is not going to be somebody who will breach the rights of negotiators. That's why when this whole thing started, you will recall, he joined the protest twice. He waved a flag. He carried a placard, and he took the position of the protesters to the president. Besides that, he addressed them. So he is not going to be one who is going to stand by and watch Lagosians being brutalized. He's not going to take that at all, and he has told the Commissioner of Police that. And the Commissioner of Police, I believe, has started the investigation of the matter to see who is guilty, who has done that. It's a big embarrassment, and the state government is against it.
Within a week or two, when we get back, we will surely give this figure. But I can tell you from some, by knowledge of the tolling system that we have and the equipment that we have seen that are being bought, it will be in the region of billions of naira. But what is the exact? Why I cannot give the exact today? We may get there, and we think we'll be able to salvage a particular items, and we will not be able to. So we need to include that one, because the cost I'm going to give is the cost that's going to be total to bring us back to pre-EndSARS period. So, but I mean, it's something that is not going to be less than 2.5 billion. That I can tell you. But I cannot give you the exact figure now. Thank you.
Let's take a short break here, but still to come. Minister of State for Health says federal government working to procure safest COVID-19 vaccine for Nigerians. Details after this time out.
Give him his shoes somewhere here, his phone and everything.
Don't do like that again, no.
Thank you. So,
Bye-bye.
Hey, Oga, where do you think you are going?
Oh, you never shake body.
Eh?
You never shake body.
Shake body, see.
You never shake body. Never shake body.
I no get combo for my body.
You go take for here. Sit down there.
Afama, what's this man still doing here? They say I do shake body. I shake body, I shake body. They say I do this. And I say I don't get color. You are asking for money. Sorry, ma'am. Asking for money to bail a suspect is an act of corruption. Both of you will be punished. Corruption is not allowed within the force. Remember,
police is your friend. Giving and taking bribe is wrong.
corruption not in my country.
Stop corruption now.
Corruption not in my country.
Glad to have you back. Now, here is a quick reminder of some of our major stories tonight. Former Minister of Finance Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala has been confirmed as the Director General of the World Trade Organization. This makes her the first woman and African citizen to ever lead the global trade body in its 25-year history. And we also told you that the Inspector General of Police Mohammed Adamu has ordered the immediate deployment of 4 units of riot policemen, 4 intelligence bureau operatives, and 1 surveillance helicopter to address the violence in some parts of Oyo State. First spokesperson Frank Mba assured that operatives would reclaim the public space, reinforce security, and bolster public confidence in the areas affected by the crisis. In case you missed any of our news bulletin or for more updates, do log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Google Plus at TV360 Nigeria. On Facebook, we're at TV360 Online. And let's now turn our attention to updates on the COVID-19 pandemic. The Minister of State for Health, Olorunimbe Mamora, has explained that the delay in bringing in COVID-19 vaccines is for the overall good and safety of the country. Mamora said this while speaking to journalists shortly after revalidating his membership of the All Progressives Congress APC in Lagos State. He explains that the federal government is looking at safety concerns and is working very hard to procure the best vaccines that will address COVID-19 variants in the country.
One of the most popular vaccines that we have now for COVID is the Pfizer BioNTech, which you store at temperature of minus 70 degrees centigrade. That is ultra cold chain. Now, it's not just about the storage. You're also looking at the supply and the maintenance of the distribution. Because at every stage, you have to maintain the cold chain, or else the vaccine will lose its integrity and it will no longer be useful. So, what we are doing is to be sure. And for me, I tell you, it's even good to wait. Why am I saying that? You will continue to have improvement in this vaccine production. It is even better for us if we can get a vaccine that is just one single dose. The vaccines that we have now, they are 2-dose vaccines. That is, you take one now, you come again in 4 weeks or thereabout to take the second shot. And the chances are people will not even turn up for the second shot. The cost element is also there. Don't forget, we are not manufacturing any of these vaccines. So we are at the mercy of those who manufacture them. So what we have done is to follow what you can call bilateral and multilateral engagement. Bilateral will speak to countries, government to government. Like we are talking to Russia. The Sputnik vaccine is from Russia. We are talking to them. And it has, of course, we are also looking at the issue of efficacy. Some of these vaccines, they have efficacy of about 70%. But we are better off to have a vaccine that has not less than 90% efficacy.
Meanwhile, Nigeria has recorded 520 fresh COVID-19 cases, taking the country's total infection load to 146,184. According to data released by the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, the new infections were drawn from 19 states, with Ondo leading with 120 infections, followed by Borno and Ebonyi with 41 and 37 cases respectively. The Public Health Agency also reported 5 COVID-19 deaths, raising the total fatality in the country to 1,752. Meanwhile, 120,838 persons have been discharged from isolation centers across the country. We'll take another short break here and return with business updates. Don't go away. Welcome back. Let's now join Mary Kanu, standing by for the latest developments in the world of business. It's over to you now, Mary.
Well, thank you very much, Onyi. And now in business, the Lekki Concession Company has appealed to the leaders of movements who plan to protest at the Lekki Toll Plaza to give peace a chance. Speaking at a press conference, Managing Director of the LCC, Yomi Omomuwason, who empathized with individuals and businesses that suffered losses, said he was distressed that more protests would hold at the Toll Plaza. The MD further said the LCC not returning to full operations within the shortest possible time would result in loss of jobs for the company's over 500 direct staff and thousands of others across its business value chain. And still on business, the Nigeria Youth Democratic Party, NYPD, has called out the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, over the move to ban cryptocurrency transactions in Nigeria. The group, while condemning the ban, has appealed to the National Assembly to remove the CBN boss from office or rescind the directive. The NYPD National Chairman, Barry Johnson, says there is no law in Nigeria that criminalizes cryptocurrency, and any effort to stop the trade of digital currency is arbitrary and anti-people.
The reason why we are calling him to be removed is because he's not qualified to be there. Because if a political party is telling the world that we have an agenda to provide 100,000 jobs for Nigerian youth using the cryptocurrency coin majored with Zuga coin, and the next point, the CBN governor cancels activities of every bank account that has something to do with cryptocurrency, it means that they don't wish Nigeria well. What we expect the CBN governor to do is to invite the Nigeria Youth Democratic Party and say, this thing you have said about 100,000 jobs using cryptocurrency, tell us how you want to go about it. Let's harness the potentials in your dream. No government anywhere in the world has the right to stop the trading of cryptocurrency anywhere in the world.
We have not been sincere to ourselves. Not only Nigerian leaders, Nigerian citizens, we have not been sincere to ourselves. I want to let you understand that we can't keep complaining about bad leadership until citizens change the way they behave. Because it's from citizens you get a leader. Leaders are not selected from the top, they are selected from the bottom. One project that we need to embark upon is to make Nigeria greater than Nigerians. As it stands now, Nigerians are greater than Nigeria.
Well, that's all on business news, but we'll take a pause here and return with stock market reviews. Stay with us. Despite witnessing an intensified sell-off by investors which began last week and has set the month of February as one of the worst months for stocks since June 2020, the Nigerian stock market ended today's trading on a bullish note, with all share index closing at 0.33%, that is 40,571 basis points. Market capitalization also closed at 21 trillion naira. The bullish run of events saw 31 equities appreciate in price, while 13 equities depreciated in price, with combined 50 naira gains. The oil and gas sector, led by Seplat Petroleum Development Company and Japol Gold, topped the gainers chart. Uniformly, the financial services sector completed the gainers list, with Mutual Benefits and ICO Insurance recording 5 kobo gains. Now, inversely, Corn Oil and Royal Exchange lost 2 naira to retain the top spot of the losers list, while Alti, Briscoe and Consolidated Hallmark Insurance lost combined 6 kobo gain. Today's trading sees 206 million shares worth 2.163 billion naira exchange hands in 4,264 deals. Now, on the global scene, the global market began the new week on a high, with hopes that the vaccine rollout could ease COVID-19 restrictions and the U.S. stimulus will boost the economy. FTSE it's currently trading at 2.05%, while Dow Jones is trading at 0.088%. Asian stock Nikkei also soared to its highest level for the first time since August 1990. That's over 3 decades, as investors hope for a rebound of its expanding economy. Now, that's all on Stock Market Review. It's back to Oyin for the rest of the news.
Well, great news for Asian stocks there, and thank you very much for that update, Mary. Moving on now to the foreign scene, where the deposed leader of Myanmar, Aung San Suu Kyi, will appear in court via video conference this week over charges brought against her by the new military junta. That's according to a lawyer. Army Chief General Mingung Liang has justified the February 1 coup by alleging widespread voter fraud in November's election, which Suu Kyi's National League for Democracy party swept. 2 days after the coup, the 75-year-old Nobel laureate was hit with the unusual charge of violating the country's import and export law after a search of her house found walkie-talkies. President Win Myint, who, like Suu Kyi, was detained in the dawn raid on February 1st, was charged with violating coronavirus restrictions when he took part in a campaign event last September that drew hundreds. Both are expected to be questioned on Tuesday and Wednesday. And it's now time for Entertainment Report on News Now.
Nigerian rapper Olaribaju Ogumefun, popularly known as Vector, has dropped a new single titled Eli Momo in anticipation of his new album titled Teslim. Vector released the single on February 14th and it features talented singer Good Girl L.A. Still in the season of love, the record is around themes of love and good feeling. This will be the first official single Vector would be putting out this year, and it's a chill, laid-back love song. The jam is the follow-up after the success of his previously rated studio body of work, The African Minds EP. Director of The Wedding Party 2, Chief Daddy, and many other amazing movies, Niyi Akimolayan, has shared another teaser for his anticipated 2021 comedy Prophetess. The latest teaser gives a bit more than the first, which debuted in January. Shot in Ibadan, the feature film produced by Victoria Akujobi and Mimi Battles is based on a local prophetess who makes a bogus prediction about a football match with her life in danger. Actress Toyin Abraham takes on the lead role with supporting roles by Adedimeji Lateef, Muyiwa Ademola, Tina Mba, Runke Oshodioke, Deyemi Okalawon, Big Brother Naija Seyi Awolowo, among others. Moving on, top Nigerian music executive Don Jazzy was recently on Nasty Sime's show, and he finally answered a question that has been on the minds of his fans. Don Jazzy has finally shared the reason why he is yet to tie the knot. The producer in an interview said, unlike some people, he cannot tune off his emotions for other people even while committed to one person. According to him, being with one person is not something he believes he has the strength for. He, however, believes there are people who have the ability to turn their feelings for other people, but made it clear he is not in that category. And that's all we have for you on the entertainment segment of News Now.
And in sports, former champion Rafael Nadal and fourth seed Daniel Medvedev have both cruised into the Australian Open quarterfinals. Nadal, the 2009 winner and number 2 seed, gained a routine 6-3, 6-4, 6-2 win over Italy's 16th seed Fabio Fognini at Melbourne Park. The Greek 5th seed was handed a walkover win in round 4 after Matteo Berrettini of Italy had to withdraw because of an abdominal injury. Nadal will face Stefano Tsitsipas in the last 8th on Wednesday. Well, that's it on News Now at this time. Well, thank you very much for watching. I am Miyetti Allah. Bye for now.